I want them to know, oh, baby, you're my lady.
Hey girls, so y'all look at me, I just finished doing this wig tutorial and I love it. Y'all look at this hair. I'm blushing. Y'all, this hair is so gorgeous. It's so thick and meaty, girl. It's like a big, thick, meaty steak, honey. So anyway, y'all, it is so late. So it's 10 p.m., 10:17 p.m. I stayed up this morning until 7 o'clock getting that vlog out, and you guys have really responded well to the vlog. I appreciate y'all so much, just all of the positive feedback and stuff. It just really, really means a lot to me. So yeah, we got that going on, and I need to edit the sponsorship that I just finished for this gorgeous, thick, beautiful wig. I don't know when the review will be out, but y'all know when I love the hair, I always mention it in my vlogs. So I'm gonna make sure that I leave the details and stuff below. I know y'all probably wondering, will this wig be in the Rochelle Chanel sale? Y'all already know I'm gonna sell this unit. I just don't know when, cause like lately, girl, they've been doing so good on the hair. I've been wanting to like wear the hair, for a little while, like at least 2 days or whatever, and then sell it. So yeah, it's beautiful. It's so gorgeous. And in the review, I was saying like, this is like beginner friendly. You know what I'm saying? And that's because the lace is super, super flat. Oh, by the way, y'all, this unit is small. This is for the girls with the tiny little head. I ain't gonna lie, girl, I'm so impressed. I did not think that this was gonna be this. And because it was taking them a long time to like send it to me. And I'm like, golly, like what's taking so long? Because typically I just get the wigs like a few days after we close the deal. But that was not the case, but that's okay. Because baby, whatever they was doing, they thug fizzle for shizzle, like nizzle. But anyway, they did a beautiful job. Oh my gosh. So, oh y'all, let me go get this other wig. Hold on. So guys, the red wig is still available. I said, baby, I guess the girls y'all don't want the red wig. But anyway, oh, it smells so good. So y'all, this is already cleaned and conditioned. And so, it is $155. If there's anybody interested in this gorgeous unit, just email me at rochellechannel@gmail.com and I'll make sure that I package this thing up for you and get it shipped out, girl, because it's already ready to go. But anyway, I just wanted to open the vlog up, girls. Y'all, I feel so gorgeous, so glamorous. I feel like I'm going to go get in the Maserati. I'm going to be a passenger princess for a very wealthy billionaire. And we're going to be riding in his ice blue Maserati, sitting on white tires, 24 inches. But anyway, okay. So we're going to call this character the Bronzed Bombshell. Hey girls, no, I did not come back last night. I was exhausted. I stayed up and I had to edit that wig sponsorship. Of course, they pay you the same day. So when you guys start when you get wig sponsorships, most of the time you are pretty much paid the same day that you provide the link. Just to kind of answer some questions you girls had, like how do you start getting wig sponsorships? Companies actually started reaching out to me, but if you really want to get into wig sponsorships, what I would say is see if you can get a really affordable wig off of Amazon. Do your wig independent of whatever else type of content you produce. So say for example, you produce vlogs, lifestyle vlogs. So what you want to do when you do your wig, you want to film yourself doing your wig and don't incorporate that in your vlog. Have it independent of that or whatever. And from there, companies will assume that, you did, it's a sponsored wig or whatever. And from there, they'll start reaching out to you. And typically, sponsorships are magnetic. And what I mean by that is like, they typically allow you to, once you get one, others come, if that makes any sense. Also, when you first start doing sponsorships, you know, my rule, a thumb of rule is always 3 for free. So basically the first 3 sponsorships that you get, you know, maybe you'll do them in exchange for product or whatever. But after that, do not do anything free anymore. You want to start getting paid for your work, because it takes a lot of time to do these sponsorships. Like for me, what is expected of me, because the standard that I've set is like, I'm always gonna have my hair and my makeup done. So even when I get sponsorships, something simple is, it could just be headphones, or it could be, you know, those companies are expecting that I'm gonna come in full hair and makeup. And because you're expecting that I'm gonna come, I am, because it's just who I am, but you need to pay for that, you know what I'm saying? And so, that's one thing that I try to, you know, keep in mind or whatever, take into consideration. So because I'm sure you guys are gonna come in hair, makeup, and dress and stuff like that, you need to charge for your time, you know? Also, when you start doing wig sponsorships and stuff like that, you're gonna have to have products. You need to consider that as well, you know? So editing, products, the time it takes to create the content, all of those things should be factored in. And so after you do 3 free sponsorships, you really shouldn't be doing anything else for free. I'm gonna say this, and what you can consider free, like if you purchase a wig on your own, to me that's one. So then you got 2 more, meaning if 2 companies after you buy your own wig reach out to you and want you to do something, yeah, but don't lead with free. Even if they lead with that, just try to get something out of them, even if it's just $100, get something out of them, or try to negotiate something. Now, if they're not willing to do that, then yeah, but after that, you shouldn't be doing anything else. Now, if a company just wants to gift you something, that's different, but you want to also be careful about gifting collabs, because sometimes when companies gift things to you, they do have that expectation that you're going to talk about them at some point, talk about the product at some point in your content. You might not want to, or you might not like the stuff that was gifted to you or whatever. But yeah, I just know that people don't respect free. They do not respect things that are free. They don't, you know, they just don't. So always try to get something, you know, and then also every time you do a sponsorship, even if you don't get that much money the first time around, each time after that, you need to start charging a little bit more and a little bit more or whatever. And so, you know, if you want to get help and try to determine what your rate should be, just go on ChatGPT. At this point, I'm going to be honest, and I'm not trying to sound like the mean Capricorn, but guys, a lot of things at this point, we really should not be asking people. You need to have your own resources. Now, I can say, yeah, after you've reached out and done your own research independently without asking anyone, maybe you could compare your rates against something else. But people are not really forthcoming, and people feel really weird about talking about money and stuff like that or whatever. So, you know, just lean on ChatGPT. I guarantee you, y'all, ChatGPT has been my eyes and my ears. They haven't given me any wrong or misleading information. Okay. The second thing that I get a lot of questions about is music. How do you get music? Music make you lose control.
Music make you lose control. Music make you lose control.
Okay, I'm sorry. I had a Sierra moment, but anyway. So I get all of my music from TikTok, and basically all I do, I go on TikTok and I literally type up the word mashup. That's it, mashup, and I hit search. Once I type up mashup, I will then go from there, and that's how I get my music or whatever. And now some of the music, I'll have to like trim it a little bit. Like, for example, at the beginning of a lot of the songs, it's the original song. You don't want to really have the original song in your video because you will get hit with a copyright strike. And if you get a copyright strike, you do not get paid for your content. I will trim what the original song is off, and then I'll start the song from there, the mashup from there. And then sometimes I'll take, if the song isn't long enough, I'll take that song and I'll blend it with another song. You just want to make sure that the songs have the same cadence and the beats are similar. So that's how I get all of my music. And then I will test the music on YouTube. But girl, YouTube has been a little bit funny lately. I've been testing my music and it's been coming back saying, oh, this is good, you can use this. But then when I do my blog, when I submit the blog or whatever, it'll come back with a copyright strike. So, you know, just be mindful of that. That sometimes the music will get approved just in a test phase, but will not get approved in a blog phase. So my recommendation is, instead of just testing the song, maybe try to upload the song with other footage included, even if the footage is muted, just with other footage included, at least 5 minutes, because from there you'll be able to, YouTube will probably be able to pick up on the song a little bit better, because what's happening is, I think YouTube is thinking that you're trying to upload a reel, and when you do a reel, you don't get hit, a short. You don't get hit as hard with copyright strikes and stuff like that when you upload shorts. So just be aware of that. As far as how I pair why do I choose the music I choose to go with the scenes that I go with. So with that, it depends on the vibe that I'm trying to create. You know, so if I'm at home and I'm writing in my journal and I'm recording that, I'm not about to have Bounce That Ass, you know, playing as B-roll music and I'm writing in my journal. So more than likely you're gonna hear something a little bit more slow and a little bit more, you know, relaxing, because typically that's what mind state you're in when you are typically writing in a journal. When I'm talking about something really, really serious, you know, if it's something serious going on and I really need to bring attention to it, or if I'm having to create a mood around whatever that is, that I pick that music, you know what I'm saying? If I'm out, or if I'm filming B-roll and I'm not at home, again, depending on the scene that I'm in, if I'm in a jazz lounge, and I'm putting B-roll music on that, I'm gonna select music that's a little bit more upbeat, but just enough to match the ambiance and the environment that I'm in. So yeah, you wanna make sure that the music you select does match the vibe that you're trying to create. You know, if you're walking, you know, you're going walking. Walking again is leisure and it's supposed to be relaxing. You're walking pretty much at a normal pace. Then again, you want the music to match with that or whatever. So there is a lot of thought that, you know, I put into my content when I am selecting music. Another thing, now this is just exclusive to me because this is something that I thought about even before I started my channel. I knew that I was coming into YouTube as a woman over 40 years old. I knew that, you know, I had a very different swag. You know, I still, you know, dressed a certain way and did a certain, you know, just did certain things that a lot of women in their 40s probably don't do. I knew my personality was very, very different. And I knew that I did want to attract people in my age demographic, but I knew I was like, I might not be able to attract them through my fashion sense because, you know, of the way I dress. I knew it was, you know, other things that may not attract that demographic. But what I did know that I could do to connect and attract my audience is select music from my era. Okay, so, but I also knew that I was like super funny And so I knew that my funny personality was going to attract a much younger demographic. So I was like, well, how can I emerge the two? Because I knew that I would attract both the girls my age and my age group and the girls significantly younger. That was just my prediction before I even started this journey. And my prediction was right. So what I had to do was come up with a way to connect to women my age and my age demographic, and also connect with the younger generation as well. And the only way that I was able to do that was to find music that could unite the two groups or whatever. And so what I would typically look for in my music would be things like, okay, the Isley Brothers, but I need to find, you know, like a beat to put that on, you know what I'm saying? Like a very upbeat beat or whatever. And so just through years and years of just like, you know, sourcing music and stuff like that. And I even had to create that type of music on my own when I kind of first got into the game or whatever. So I was able to then, once TikTok started emerging and DJs and people like that, different artists wanted to display their talent, I was able to find people to create that exact music. So for me, music has been very pivotal in me telling my story, even when I didn't, times without, I don't want to talk. You know what I'm going through just by the music that I'm playing. Like times where certain things I don't want to say, I can tell my story through music. So it has become extremely important to me that I do select my music very carefully, because I know that it's going to connect 2 or 3 different generations sometimes. And it's one of the things that you know, that I'm known for. Like people know me like, oh, Rochelle be having the music in her vlogs, you know. And so yeah, so definitely you know, take my advice, because I have I don't know who this is that keep calling me, but they need to stop. But anyway, so yeah. But anyway, let me answer this phone call real quick and I'm gonna call y'all back. Anyway, it's the plan on the phone for me, girl. I'm gonna have to go back through my block list and block some new numbers, because I don't know, all of these random numbers been calling me. But yeah, so that's just some little tips that I wanted to go ahead and answer, because I have been getting lots and lots of questions about how do you get wig deals, how do you get sponsorships, where do you get your music from. So you know, I don't know, I had been wanting to answer it, but I hadn't been really feeling great about my views and stuff lately. And so I was like, damn, like who's gonna want to listen to me, you know what I'm saying? My views ain't viewing like they used to or whatever. But I'm like, you know what, I had to just put that behind me and still be like, okay, let me just answer the question, because the bottom line is this information is beneficial to somebody or whatever. So yeah, but anyway, girls, let me show y'all my outfit really quickly. We need to run down to Walmart. I need to go, actually, I have like a job in Walmart that I have to do. Believe it or not, y'all, these sponsorships get really, really interesting. So we got to go to Walmart because I have to, a company contacted me and they wanted me to do some work or whatever for them. So we need to go do that. All right. Nothing fancy to see here. Literally just a really cute pair of green slacks. These are so cute. These are thrifted, and so is this really cute shirt. So yeah, y'all, nothing, you know, to see here. I just felt like being feminine and cute. So anyway, let me grab my purse and I'll see y'all when I get in the car. I'm trying to, wait a minute, y'all. I have not been here in so freaking long. Oh my goodness, y'all. When was the last, girl, we haven't been to Walmart in over a year. So I'm still trying to navigate. It looks like they might have changed some things around a little bit. But another thing I like to do when I'm here is make sure that I'm looking kind of at the clothing department. So let me see what they have. Ooh. Y'all, this is cute. I'm not gonna lie, I like this. With these joggers, these denim joggers. Girl, that's cute. Yeah, I like that. Oh, you know what? I completely overlooked these, the ones in kind of like the tan color. Or they actually look like a nude or a blush color. Those are really cute too. Y'all, they have slow cookers here for $19.97. Now, I have not been able to find one of these cheaper on Amazon. The cheapest one I was able to find on Amazon was like $70. So, but you know what? These are not very big. So that's probably what it is. And this is not the brand that I would typically use either. So, okay, and let me see. Excuse me. Is there any way that you can look in your system to see if y'all carry this? This is it's an eye massager. Baby, let me tell you something. The way I just got chewed up in Walmart, not necessarily by a person, but absolutely by my time. Y'all, I am over it. So, I was contacted by a company that I've worked with that actually we have a great working relationship. After walking down the aisles and looking aisle after aisle, when I couldn't find it, I asked someone to help me, only to have them confirm that you can get it at Walmart, but only online. But anyway, I emailed the lady. We've been communicating back and forth on, on this campaign or whatever. And she was like, yeah, it's at the store, but no, it's not at the store. So anyway, initially what I was going to do is provide a solution. I have a solution, but what I had to realize is like, I do enjoy working for this company. They definitely should have done their due diligence prior to contacting me, so we could have already had this shit worked out. However, what I have to realize is, and this is based off of some advice I actually gave one of my clients this morning. What I have to realize is that problems are solved from the top to the bottom, not from the bottom to the top. This is not my company, and I have to let them come up with a solution. And I was telling one of my clients that this morning, she's actually she just started a new job maybe a month ago, and after starting the new job a month ago, she's running into some issues. Yeah, oh shit, y'all, these streets raggedy. One of the issues that she ran into was like they hired her to come on and do process management and resolutions and all of that, and so she's finding a lot of things out at the company that need to be resolved. Well, the problem that she's having, because she is providing these resolutions, is people are already getting frustrated with her. And what I explained to her was like, honestly, I know that they hired you there to provide solutions or what have you, and now that you're providing these solutions, you're already getting pushback. Because she said that they were in a meeting, and she kind of brought up some things that she saw would be a problem, and then she had a solution, and everyone started looking frustrated. And so I was like, okay. So, and they told her that she was moving too fast. I said, well, what I would recommend, spend this time as a new employee really understanding how their processes and procedures work, and you take this time and you put tools and you put things in place specifically for you, and don't share those things with the company, but you need to put tools, processes, procedures, and everything else into place specifically for you to understand the dysfunction of this company. I said, because again, in companies, problems are never solved from the bottom up. It's always, and so you coming in, and I'm not implying that you're at the bottom, but you're not the CEO, the CFO, whatever. You are a contributor, and not what they would deem as what's called an influencer. So you contribute to the company, but you don't have an influence on the company right now. So instead of you producing things and telling them how to fix this and how to fix that, then focus on learning their level of dysfunction and then just go from there. And then I also told her, I was like, the bottom line is this: people are frustrated. People have made some decisions in November. Decisions were made. And those decisions that were made in November are now coming back to haunt people.
So people don't want to give more than they have to. So then when they have a new person coming in that comes in and is deemed as a disruptor, and you're disrupting a system of dysfunction that's been in place, people don't want to stretch and think beyond what they have to stretch and think beyond. They only want to focus on doing their job. So when you start talking about the interface of, the platform, the software that they use is this, and, the dashboard needs to be this, you're inevitably putting more work on people's plate, and they don't want the work, and they don't want the change, despite the fact that they hired you to improve processes and procedures, as they say, and procedures. You were hired for that. So I was explaining to her what I would do right now. I would take a step back. I would focus on learning how they do things. And then after I learned how they do things, I would then try to understand how I can better support them. And then after I learned how I can better support them, I would go after the person whose hair is on fire. And that's a tip that I was given. And basically, and this is a pro tip that I'll give you guys if you guys are contractors. As a contractor, once you get in and you've kind of got your footing and you understand the scope of the job and what you'll really be doing and how you can contribute, always go after the person with their hair on fire, because that's going to be the person that needs the most help. And by them being the person that needs the most help, then you will be able to prolong your stay just a little bit longer. You know what I mean? That means that if you go after somebody who needs the most help, there's going to be more work, meaning longer contracts. So instead of your contract ending in 6 months, you could prolong your contract for 9 to 10 months, maybe even a year. But for God's sake, don't go into these companies, these major corporations trying to save the day and trying to play hero, because it's only going to backfire on you, and people are only going to become more and more frustrated with you, as time progresses, because they're going to see you like, damn, she messing up the thing. I only want to come to work and do the same job I've been doing for 15 years, and I don't want to learn nothing different, because I'm not paid to learn anything different. So yeah, that's just a little pro tip or whatever. And so while I'm telling y'all this, giving y'all this information, I had to remind myself of that today. Like, listen, yeah, you have a solution, but let them offer the solution, because I really want to be compensated for my time. If you really want to know, baby, pay me what you owe me. And then I'm in the checkout line, and I see one of the dudes at Walmart trying to take a picture, trying to take a picture of my booty or whatever. So I looked, and he go, oh, you need some help? Sir, I don't need no help, but them goddamn, what you doing and what you sneaking and doing, you need some help, because obviously there is lack. If you at work and you taking pictures of people booty, sir, you got bigger fish to fry. Bigger fish to fry other than asking me if I need help. Then I'm down to the parking lot putting my stuff in the car. I'm minding my business. Some little old young dude come driving up. Were you looking for someone? So I'm like, you know what? I'm about to make him sound dumber than what he think he is. He was like, are you looking for someone? And I'm like, why would I be like, I didn't call an Uber. I didn't call a mechanic. I didn't call anybody. I didn't call a locksmith. So no, I'm not looking for anybody. So he's like, no, not like that. Now y'all know that I know what he meant, but I just wanted to appease him. So I'm like, no. And I'm like, are you a Lyft driver? Were you looking for somebody? Like, he's like, oh, never mind. Like, sir, go away. That's not even how, you don't drive up to some woman. Oh, that's what he said. Well, I approached you. Okay, what does that? But you didn't approach me the right way. Well, first of all, he was young, so I didn't want to, not too much on a young boy. But that is not how you approach a woman. You don't drive up to a woman who's putting her groceries in her car and be like, are you looking for someone? Sir, do better.
All right, girls, we are back at the house, obviously. And so I got another wig. I'm going to show y'all that in a minute. But I also got this little sweet and savory crunch pack from Walmart. I did think that this looked really, really good. But the cheese is okay. It's kind of bouncy though. Like, I don't like bouncy food, bouncy meats, bouncy cheese. And when I say bouncy, stuff like lobster and stuff, I don't know how to, it's like when you eat it, it feels bouncy. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Is that weird? Is that weird? But like, y'all know what I'm talking about, how it feel like you're dribbling a ball but with your teeth. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like bouncy food. So anyway, girls, y'all, guess what? I was watching TikTok, and y'all, this girl, like 2 months ago, she was on TikTok and she was saying that she was about to be 40 years old and that she was kind of just bored in life. She didn't have a boyfriend. She was single. She didn't have a baby or anything. And that was 2 months ago. And so since then she's turned 40, but y'all, she's getting a baby. I'm so like happy for her, but I'm kind of like, I don't know, like sad for myself, because like I wish, that's the one thing, like I wish I had a baby. So, you know, it's like, I don't know. I think it's just like one of those things that either it's in the cards for you or not, or whatever. And I remember like, oh, I don't even know why I'm getting sad. But I think it's just one of those things, like, I think that's the only thing I mean, it's not the only thing I've ever wanted. I think the thing that I've always wanted was just like to have a lot of, you know, success in my career and stuff. And it's just like now I kind of feel, you know, I feel myself slowing down a little bit. Of course, we know the momentum will pick back up or whatever as I just, you know, I guess just kind of restructure the way that things are done. But I just think like, other than just wanting a lot of success, I don't know, I never really wanted marriage like that. It just was never important to me. But the one thing that I always think about is just like, I wish that I had a baby. So like when I saw her, and I'm like, she hasn't told her story if it was an adoption or whatever, but yeah, like I think I just, you know, I know a lot of people tell me like, oh, you didn't miss anything with motherhood and stuff. But I just think like sometimes, you know, I get like as a parent, you have to nurture and care for the child. But I also think like, you know, sometimes you need the baby as much as the baby needs you. And I think that that's something a lot of people don't talk about, you know. So it's not that I just want a baby because they're so fat and cute and all of that type of stuff. It's just that, you know, sometimes there is a need in it for you as a parent, you know what I'm saying? And so I also think it's important that you have something to take care of, you know. And right now I just have myself, and yes, I do remember a few vlogs back, especially after the election, I did say, you know, that was one of the few times I was grateful that I didn't have a kid or whatever. But that thing in me of, you know, wanting to be a mom, that never goes away or whatever. And so I know someone suggested that I be a foster parent, but that's just not what I want. You know, if anything, it's just, I would want to be fully involved and have the baby and raise the baby. I wouldn't want to be in a position, you know, where I had to, you know, invest time in a kid and we get attached and I have to give the baby away. That's just not what I want. But it is something that I think about a lot. Just, you know, wish that I would have had an opportunity to be a mom or whatever. And like I think I might have deviated from my point, but my point is, you know, you talk about like, oh, you know, the economy is bad and this and that or whatever. But if I had all the right circumstances, you know what I'm saying, like that would definitely, like if I pictured my dream life, a part of that would absolutely just, it would be being a mom, you know. And so I'm happy for her, but it does make me sad that I never had the opportunity to experience having a baby. And then going back to my point I was making about sometimes when you have kids, they need you. You need them as much as they need you. I was listening to these guys, and it's what's the name of that thing? What's the name of that thing? It's something when you sit down, you know, like you just talk. A podcast. Okay, I'm sorry, it's a podcast. It's a podcast about dads who have kids with autism. And when I was, and it's black dads who have kids with autism. And so when I was listening to the podcast, I was just thinking like, damn, like these guys that are just, probably just your everyday guy or whatever, they have so much knowledge now in terms of just the medical field, understanding certain levels of medicine, just different things as it relates to autism, because they were put in a position to have kids with autism. And so I was just thinking about how they literally had to stretch themselves mentally to understand a kid with autism, having to understand diagnosis and not having them diagnosed, or when diagnosed, or when to or when not to, or whatever. And so just listening to them, despite the fact that these were just, your quintessential everyday average guy, when they start speaking on autism, and just speaking on, getting their kids diagnosed, and just the conversation centered around having a kid with challenges, it did make me realize like, yeah, like despite the fact that these kids have challenges, every child before the child is born picks a parent. Had these guys never had kids with autism, they would have never been stretched mentally. It made me realize like, man, these guys, they needed this particular kid, because if they didn't, life probably wouldn't be what it is, and it's like, I hear so many people that be like, my kids saved my life. Then I also hear people that, they say like, if I wouldn't work this hard if I didn't have kids or whatever. And so, but back to the guys who, with the kids with autism, one guy was saying like his son did not talk ever. He never talked. His kid was 4 years old. One day, out of the blue, he just started reading. He was like, they had never sat down and taught him how to read or anything, but just out of the blue, he just started reading. And so he was also just saying like, his son, he didn't even know his son could talk. And so he was like, they was riding in the car, and out of the blue, the kid just said something, and it was just like so intellectual. And then he was also saying like the teacher would talk to him and be like, hey, you're not paying attention. But then the kid, he could tell the teacher everything that was discussed. And then also he was saying like some of the kids in the class, they were having trouble spelling words, simple words like cat. But then his son knows how to spell big words like helicopter, big words like that or whatever. And so eventually his son went on to have an interest in just online, and he created a video on YouTube, and the video went viral. And I think his son made $8,000 from the video. So he was saying now, because his son does not talk a lot, when he does, he says, I listen. Like when my son has something to say, I listen or whatever. And he was just saying, because he's very selective, he's not selective, but he's intentional about what he says. And because he's intentional, we listen. And he was just saying like, kids like that, they have ideas upon ideas upon ideas. And because they don't talk a lot, it is so important that when they do, you listen. And so again, it just made me realize like, wow, he needed this kid. You know what I'm saying? Or the people you need certain things in your life to help you become who you're supposed to. Now, there is no doubt that I am exactly who I am supposed to be. But I just think about, what would life look like if I had a kid or whatever, and just not ever having the opportunity to do that. And I will be very transparent. It's something that I get really sad about, because I never grew up like, I never really grew up saying like, oh, I don't want kids. I never grew up saying that, but I just think like it was just never in the cards for me. And so it does make me sad. And then, so there's a trend going around right now where people are, they're celebrating the fact that they don't have no kids. And I forgot who sings the song,
But it's basically in the song they're saying 21 with no kids, and so people are putting their age on the screen and saying they don't have a kid or kids or whatever. And I get that, and I never saw myself having a house full of children, but I at least saw myself having one, and it just never happened. And it's just funny how you think you're planning your life. And I just remember when I was in my 20s and I was like, I had gotten my first scholarship in college and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna get married by the time I'm 24. Then I'm gonna have a kid by the time I'm 28 or whatever. And so, of course, 28 started to approach, and I was like, okay, I'm 28 now, so I'll get married and I'll have a kid by the time I'm 32. Because at the time I felt like, oh, that's the only way you can have a kid is if you're married or whatever. Of course, I got wise and I learned that that's absolutely, you don't have to be married to have a kid. So anyway, I just thought that that's how it had to be. So anyway, once I got to 32, I was like, I started doing research, and by then I was like, okay, well, I don't have to be married. I can just have a kid if I want to. So then I was like, okay, by the time I'm 37, I'll have a kid. Well, then 37 got here and it still hadn't happened. And then I was like, okay, well, by the time I'm 40, I'll have a kid. And 40 got here, and I think I just kind of gave up. And I also come from a family where we don't have kids very often. In my family, we only have kids every 8 years. And so, but unfortunately, the last kid that we had was 18 years ago, which was my little niece. And so we haven't had a kid in the family in a long time. And I don't see nobody else is gonna have kids or whatever, unless my niece and my nephews, and they're getting older. I thought my little niece I thought she was only 24. She's 27, and she's not interested in having kids. And my other nephew, I think he's like 28, 29. Then my other nephew, I think he's like 31. And nobody wants kids. And so I only have 2 nephews and 2 nieces. My youngest niece is 18, like I said, and she doesn't want kids. And so it's just like, we don't have any kids in the family or anything like that. And so, I don't know. It's just something that I think about a lot. And it does make, like I said, it does make me sad that I never got a chance to experience motherhood and stuff like that. So anyway, this completely did not go the way that I anticipated it to. But I am about to finish eating these delicious apples and this bouncy cheese. And I'm probably gonna cook something. I'm gonna bake some chicken. It's a little late, but I wanna bake the chicken before it goes bad. But anyway, so yeah, let me kind of eat my apples and all of that kind of stuff, and then I'll call y'all back. Okay, I'm back and I'm better. Let me show you what I got from the grocery store. I got some tuna. Y'all have got to try these, guys. The lemon pepper. Baby, the lemon pepper is amazing. And they're on sale for 88 cents, so y'all gotta get some of these. Of course, I grabbed some Pringles because I needed me like a little snack on my way home. And now that I think about it, I really should have just ate them apples on the way home and left the Pringles at the store. But anyway, and then of course, I got some of my organic raspberry leaf tea. Y'all, this stuff is so freaking delicious. In fact, I'm gonna make some of this tonight. I got my favorite bread. So my favorite bread is Nature's Own honey wheat. I love this stuff. And then of course, because I'm still a big kid at heart, I got the honeycombs. Not just the honeycombs, baby, but the family size, because I like to actually just eat these like as a little snack or whatever. So not always with milk. So yeah, I got that. And then, girl, here go the wig, girl. So we got a wig from Jesse's Wig. I don't know what this wig is giving and how it's gonna look on me. I do know that it has the curtain bangs. It's 20 inches. And this should be pretty easy to style. But I'm gonna be really honest, girls.
I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna be selling this gorgeous unit, but of course I have to do the installation process first and you know, edit, film, and all of that type of stuff, which I'm gonna be honest, I think I might just do that tonight. That way we can just hang out all day tomorrow, and I won't have to stop and do a wig review. So I think that's what's going to happen. All right, girls, this is the unit. I took my earring off already. So this is the hair. You guys are gonna see this in a separate video, of course, but guys, this really is a curtain bang. I said that already. And but I just wanted to do a side part, guys. I will be selling this unit after the sponsorship is approved. So this is absolutely gonna be for sale. This is not gonna be a unit that I'm gonna, you know, have fun with it for a couple of days. I'm definitely gonna be selling this effective immediately. So I don't know the company price point on it, but just judging off of the density and stuff like that, this unit will go for $115. That $115 will cover shipping and all of that stuff or whatever. So I just wanted to come back and tell y'all that. But anyway, girls, let me go ahead and start editing the video footage for this wig, or the sponsorship. Y'all, I'm getting a little bit tired. But anyway, let me do the editing, and then I'll give you guys a call back once I'm done.
Do we build it up, just to let it wash away? Tell me, did I lace you up, just to watch you run away? Please tell me who's getting on my love, who's getting on my love? Tell me who's getting on my time? All of that used to be mine. Oh, put it to this what I touch. Better not give her my nickname. I don't like thinking about it. I swear that it's wearing me down. No, but tell me who's getting all of mine? Who's getting all of mine? Residual. Who's getting all of mine? Who's getting all of mine? Residual.
All right, girls, so I did cook and I made some chicken. Let me show y'all. So I made some baked chicken, but y'all, this chicken is so good. It's like, it tastes like fried chicken, but I don't know how to fry chicken, so I just bake it, plus it's healthier. I made some yams, and basically these were store-bought, and all you have to do is like warm them up or whatever, you know, bake them in the oven. And then, girl, y'all, get into these green beans from Trader Joe's. These are like garlic green beans, but I added bacon to them, and I added some white rice. But the green beans, girl, y'all, I don't know what kind of spices they use, but it's kind of like, it is a garlic taste. You taste the butter, but also it's like almost like a little bit of a hint of brown sugar in them as well. They are so freaking good. And then I also added like some lemon juice to them as well. So, you know, I just wanted to cook. I was supposed to do this last night, but girl, after staying up and editing that sponsorship for that wig and all of that, I was tired. But I am gonna give y'all a bite of these green beans, girl. They are so good. If you guys have a Trader Joe's in your area, you need to make sure you grab some. This is what the inside of the chicken looks like. Oh, y'all can see the steam coming off of it, girl. My mouth hot. Oh. Oh, I'm sorry. Y'all know I'm not used to, like, it's not like super hot, but it just adds a little bit of a kick. But I think I went a little bit too heavy-handed on it. Oh my gosh. Y'all, why it seems like when your mouth get hot, when you have a wig on, it seems like the wig gets just, it like gets tighter and tighter. The hotter your mouth get, the tighter the wig get. Oh my God. Oh my God, y'all, look at that smoke. Can y'all see that smoke coming off of there? Okay, baby. The way my mouth is hot. Oh my. Okay, so listen. Last night I was down to my favorite place, TikTok, and it was a lady and she was doing a TikTok live. And so she is an explant, so basically an American that moved to another country. She's a black lady. She moved to another country and she hasn't lived in America in years. So she was answering questions about living abroad, and I've always found it to be like very interesting when, you know, people leave, especially black women, leave America and go live in different countries. And so I was asking her, like, what's the downside of, you know, living outside of America? And she was basically saying, like, well, where I am right now, you know, the downside is they have roaches, termites, and the pollution is bad. And then she was like, you know, but there are some other things. I can't get into those things right now, but you can book a one-on-one consultation with me and I'll give you more information in a private one-on-one consultation, which is, she charges $100 for 1 hour or whatever. And so I was just like, you know, I just said thank you or whatever. Now, it's not that deep where I want to book a consultation because everybody's experience in anything is subjective, you know. So there are so many things that you have to think critically on in regards to her situation. Yes, she probably does, you know, deal with roaches and termites or whatever, but that just might be where the specific area that she's in. However, I have always had the theory, like, as a person, like, if you're gonna sell a product online, you give your best information away for free. And then when people see you living or walking the walk, talking the talk, they're gonna come. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not ever gonna feel like I need to put, you know, just basic information that people can look up online behind a paywall or whatever. And so I'm just like, well, you know, I don't know. I hate when people, everything or every piece of information that they want to share with you is you have to pay for it. You know, it's gonna be this, you know, and I'm only saying that because I don't do that. I come on here, I give you guys resume tips and everything else. I try to do as much as I possibly can to help everybody out or whatever, because I know ultimately I will still get clients despite the fact of whatever, you know, information I'm giving, because, you know, people still, everybody's individual situation is different. And so I'm like, damn, girl, you trying to capitalize on everything. So anyway, after that, she was like, you know, she sells this product and this product and this product. And, you know, it was just like a money grab, you know. And I'm like, but the stuff that she was charging people for is just stuff that you can go online and look up yourself. But let me say this. What I have to realize is that there are a lot of people out there that will not do the leg work. Me, of course, I'm different. I'm gonna do the leg work on everything. Even if I go to church and the pastor preach a certain sermon, I'm gonna come home and read the Bible and the scriptures that he read from myself. Because if you don't, somebody will, like, they will preach you right to hell, or either they will, you know, give you wrong information. So you really have to be vigilant, think critically, and look the stuff up yourself. And I get that, but it's just like, you know, basic stuff like, you know, saying like, oh, if you go to this country, you can be there for 30 days. They give you 30 days on an American visa automatically that comes with your passport. And so, but I'm like, but you're thinking to myself, she's charging for that. But like, I would just say, look it up yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the whole point of this conversation. Like, yeah, you know, it is a trip that people, they will sell you anything, girl. People will literally sell you the recipe to ice water. They will. I've seen people do it. They literally, well, I have an ebook on how to make ice water. Just click on the link up. Just click on the link up there. I have a few links. It's always up there. Or I'm gonna put everything right here. I'm gonna put it down here. It's always some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So, girl, just do the, do the legwork yourself. But again, that's coming from somebody who is I do my due diligence. You know what I'm saying? And I'm very thorough in everything that I do. And then on top of that, I'm also gonna have other tools that I use that I'm gonna use ChatGPT. I'm gonna do my own research. I'm gonna use ChatGPT, and we're gonna get together and we're gonna figure it out. But I was just like, damn, like, girl, just because she was like, yeah, there's a lot of things I can't say, but you can also, she was like, you can also join my community, and I think like joining her community is maybe, I don't know, we'll just say like $60 a month. I'm like, girl, what you charging $60 for? So anyway, you know me, I moseyed right on down to YouTube, and I just Googled like black in Japan. And so I just started like looking up, looking at videos where black people live in, Japan and just different countries and stuff like that or whatever. And I was able to get information. Now, of course, when you go on YouTube, people are going to be a little bit more thorough, and they're going to get more in depth in terms of talking about the things that's going to overall affect anybody coming there. Like one black guy, he was like, Japan is one of those places where you will be welcomed, but you get more respect when you learn the language and the law of the land, and he was just saying, he's a black professional, and as a black professional, he gets paid more than a lot of other Americans that come over to Japan. And that's because he took the time to understand the language and the culture and so on and so forth. So yeah. So I wanted to say that. And then also, living abroad and stuff like that, you can also go over there for work. You know what I'm saying? So there's an opportunity for that. But anyway, she was also selling a guide on basically how to live abroad, work abroad and move there or whatever for free. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you can move to another country for free and it's sponsored and stuff like that, but you also have to be careful, because depending on where you live, girl, they can start threatening to cut your visa up, or threatening, what happens if it doesn't work out and you get fired? Everything is not protected like it is here. Like in America, if you get fired or not, I'm not gonna say fired, but if you decide, okay, this isn't the best opportunity for me, then what happens? Then you always have to make sure you are doing things extra careful, and cross your T's, dot your I's, and just constantly walk in a straight line. Because if you lose your visa, if you lose your job, then what? I guess the worst case scenario is you would have to come back, but still, I don't know, girl. But anyway, just do your own research, because baby, the girls is out down to the thing scamming. Another thing that I saw was this whole big debate on if you should take your resume on a job interview. And I'm like, who's still debating that? So this guy was saying he went on a job interview. The person interviewing him was late. And not only was he late, when they got ready to do the job interview, the guy asked him for his resume. And he was like, you should have my resume when you contacted me about the job. Like, why didn't you print my resume? Why isn't it printed out, or why don't you have it? And so anyway, he was like, he handed the guy his phone and basically was like, you can email it to yourself, like telling him to email it to himself or whatever. So obviously he did not get the job. So there were people in the comment section, and they were basically saying stuff like, oh my God, is it 2002? Why do we still need a resume to go on a job interview? That's ridiculous. We shouldn't need no resume. And somebody was saying, well, in 2025, if I go on a job interview and they ask me for a resume, that lets me know that the company is not for me. And I'm like, I didn't say anything, but my thing is, you're asked for a resume not because they don't have it. They just want to see if you are prepared. They just simply want to see if you are prepared. And then also they probably want to see like how you do things in terms of just when you hand your resume over, you know, were you organized when you went to get the resume out of your raggedy ass passport? I mean, not passport, but your portfolio. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are a lot of reasons, guys. These companies play a lot of games. People play games, period. You know, it goes back to the theory of me saying people will sell you a fucking ebook to learn how to make ice water. So don't ever believe that they don't play games when it comes down to them asking you for your resume. Of course they have your resume, but it is simply a test to see if you are prepared. You know what I'm saying? And then sometimes it's just like they want to see if the resume you provide matches the resume that was in the system again, and they're using that as some rule or some way to judge you or whatever. But yeah, so it's just like, you know, right now times are crazy. People are getting laid off left and right. One of my friends just got laid off just out of the blue. And so my thing is, girl, just play the freaking game. If you want the job, play the game. So anyway, he was like, the job he was applying for was for a line cook, you know, and he was just saying like he shouldn't have needed no resume and all of this kind of stuff or whatever. So he didn't get that job, of course, but he did end up getting another job. And like I said, if I didn't already say this, he was bragging like, and yeah, I didn't even need a resume. I ain't even need a resume. I'm just like, baby, I don't know. I mean, maybe times are changing, girl. Y'all let me know in the comment section. Are you guys still taking resumes on the job interview? I mean, whatever the consensus is, if I ever have to interview for a job, I'm absolutely going to be taking a hard copy of the resume because it's better to be over prepared than under, you know? So yeah, but I'm getting ready to, well, not just me, me and you, me and y'all, we need to go over here to the hood real quick, girl. I need to go to the hood, but I need to look kind of wholesome, you know what I'm saying? So we need to go to the hood and wheel and deal, you know. We're not going back to my past, but we do need to go to the hood and, you know what I'm saying, wheel and deal, girl. But I'm gonna give y'all more information about that later, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, let me finish doing my makeup real quick, and then yeah, I'm gonna call y'all when I get in the car.
Can't understand why we choose